Welcome to Ice Time Online, and big news in St. Louis with the parent club this week, and Burke, Davis Payne is gone.
Yep, former Rivermen head coach has been relieved of his head coaching duties and replaced by Ken Hitchcock. Caught a lot of people by surprise, I know, not only within the organization but around St. Louis and the Peoria areas, and things are changing.
We talked to Doug Armstrong, the Blues general manager, ahead of the moves, and we also talked to Corey Hirsch, the Blues goaltending coach, about Jake Allen and Ben Bishop. And then we've interviewed Jared Bednar and Phil McRae about the coaching changes up top. Enjoy. We're with head coach Jared Bednar, and kind of a surprising turn of events Sunday with the dismissal of Davis Payne. What's your reaction there?
Well, yeah, I was surprised. I thought, I feel that everyone involved thinks that Davis did a great job for the organization, and it's early in the season, so that was a little bit surprising to us. But I guess from watching the interviews and everything up top, they feel like their team is at a place where they need some veteran leadership from their coaching staff, and obviously Hitch's resume speaks for itself.
Hey, why don't you explain to people what kind of autonomy Peoria has, and what if anything, is going to happen?
Well, in the past, we've been able to play our own systems. They've expressed that it wasn't a need to have per se a cookie cutter organization where we're playing the exact same systems. I think they want us to feel comfortable with the systems that we've been coaching, and that's what we've done up until this point. Now, whether that changes or not, I'm not sure. I think that probably Hitch's focus will be on what's going on up there, and that may change come next off season. We might decide that it'd be better for the organization to play the same, and if that's true, then that's fine. But I think right now we feel comfortable in the systems that we're coaching. They feel like that it's a system that can work. So I'm not foreseeing any big changes for us down here.
Just talk about what Davis was like as a head coach.
Yeah, first of all, I was shocked to hear that, but I really enjoyed him as a coach. I felt that he brought the best out of all the players and had us all working hard when I was up there, and I really enjoyed him and wish him all the best, and I'm sure he's got a bright future ahead of him as a coach elsewhere. You're
a guy who obviously has spent some time up there and with a lot of those players. Did you get a sense of what their reaction was, and what was your reaction when you found out?
No, I haven't really talked to any of the guys up in St. Louis about it, but I saw a couple of their interviews, and they all said the same thing I said. They wish him all the best, and they enjoyed playing for him, and everyone thinks he's got a bright future coaching ahead of him. So, I think it's all the same from everyone.
You've been lucky enough to not have to go through a head coaching change in the middle of a season, but what kind of problems would that pose for a team that all of a sudden has to look to a new guy as a head coach?
I think sometimes the change is good, and sometimes if you bring in a new coach, maybe try some new systems and stuff, and maybe get a spark, and sometimes change is good.
So we're with Doug Armstrong, general manager of the St. Louis Blues, and you're part of quite an entourage of brass in the Carver Arena tonight. What are you here to look at?
Well, I was here to just see how the guys are progressing since training camp. I was in early in the season, and I like to see them. I'm going to be here tonight and tomorrow night, then catch them in Hamilton in another 10 days or so. So you always like to get in when you can and check the progress of all the players.
What are you hoping to see out of these guys here? It's been a nice scoring team so far. Ben Bishop is solid at goaltender. What do you think you have down here?
Well, over the next 2 nights, you want to look at both team play, how they're adjusting to the style of play the coach wants to play, and then individual strengths and weaknesses of the players and how they're progressing from where they were not only in training camp but last season, and make sure the guys are progressing well and making that movement towards the NHL where they all want to get to.
Now, up top, at some point, knock on wood, you get everybody healthy. You've got some decisions to make with that roster. Might we see a Grachev or a Chris Porter at some point?
Well, it's certainly too early to tell that. We hope we have those decisions, but right now we have 3 players out, and none of them are really on the horizon to get back soon. So if we have to make hard decisions, the players will tell us who's going to stay and who's going to go. Right now, Grachev and Porter have been in our lineup, playing well, and I know Ryan Reeves has been in and out. I think he's going to get back in soon. So there's going to be good competition for roster spots right now, but right now with the injuries to Perron, McDonald, and Crombeen, it's all hands on deck with the players that are there.
And speaking of David Perron, if I understand correctly, he has to give his permission to do a conditioning stint in Peoria. Is that something you would like him to do at some point, or can he step in after a year off and just play?
Well, it's something that we're certainly going to discuss with him, and my experiences have showed me that if a player wants to come down and thinks it's beneficial to come down and play, it's certainly an option. But with a player with David's experience, if they're coming in half-hearted or not sure that this is the next step that they want to take, it's not necessarily the best thing for them, because if you're down here playing not to get injured, I guarantee you're going to get injured. You have to come down here and want to play your game, and so it's too far in advance because David's not even taking contact at the NHL level. But when we get to that point, we'll let him make that decision with we'll have consultation with him and his agent, and we'll see what he thinks best for him to get him ready to play in the NHL.
And we're with Blues goaltending coach Corey Hirsch, and Coach Hirsch, got a couple of prospects here. Ben Bishop looks like he's progressing toward NHL time.
Absolutely. I'm pretty excited with how Ben is playing, and I think this is what he needs to do. He needs to put a good string of games together, be consistent, play real well down here, and show that that he belongs at the next level. And to do that, you need to dominate at this level first. So with goaltenders, the process is usually a little bit longer, and Ben is starting to really show that he can be a good goaltender.
At the other end of that developmental curve right now, we're seeing Jake Allen struggle a little bit at the start of this year, and to be fair, he set the bar pretty high for himself last year. And you've kind of been through that yourself as a young goalie. Your rookie year, you won 35 games in the American League, and you had that valley in your development and went right back on to Olympics and a great pro career.
Absolutely. And that's why typically with goaltenders, they take longer than players. I mean, it's not so much a physical position as a mental position, and I think that's what you see, and that's why the minors are good for goaltending, because they need to develop, and typically you're looking at between 3 to 5 years for a goalie. I mean, there's other guys that buck the trend and go right to the NHL, but very few do that. And usually you need to go through those peaks and valleys to become a better player.
What do you say right now? What are you working on with Jake Allen to try to get him turned around?
Well, I mean, part of the game is sometimes over trying is just as bad as can be just as detrimental. And that means you're chasing the puck. You're almost doing too much. There's the old saying of keep it simple. And that's what Jake needs to do. He just needs to keep it simple, let the game come to him, and his effort and his goaltending skills and how good he is, it'll take over for him.
It's Corey Hirsch with the Blues.